Hello everybody, welcome back to our HTML and CSS tutorial. In the previous episode, we have discussed how to create an image gallery in HTML and CSS. And in today's episode, we are going to learn how to create a portfolio. And this is the portfolio we're going to be creating for today's episode. Let me show you something. If we are to refresh in, as you can see, hi, I'm your name, this text is animating from downward to this fixed position right here. And this is very cool because it's an animation feature we're going to be adding for it. And don't worry, we're going to go there in our code section. And as you can see, we have the social media icons having this hover effect right here. And if we were to scroll down a little, we have our navigation bar right here. And this is a sticky navigation bar right here. What I mean with sticky is that, let's assume we're to scroll down. As you can see, we cannot scroll down past it. We cannot hide it. Even if we were to scroll down like this, it is always sticky at the top right here. So this is just basically what I mean with a sticky navigation bar. And as you can see, we have our about me section. We have our profile image with this hover effect. When we hover around it, it's just becoming a little bit bigger like this. So, and the next section is our skills section. We have, I think, almost 4 skills cards right here. And as you can see, they are also being very fancy because when we hover around them, they have this hover effect just like this. And the next section is our project section. And our project section, as you can see, when we hover on our project, it is just having this text description right here. And it only appears when we hover around it just like this. I think it's very cool. And the next section is our contact me section. And this is also very cool. As you can see, it has this hover effect. And the most interesting thing about this contact me section is this. Let's assume we are to click on this phone number on a mobile device or any device that can be able to make a phone call. If we are to click it even right now, as you can see, it is saying this site is trying to open, pick an app. That is, let's assume we are opening this site on a mobile phone. By the time we clicked on this phone number, it can be able to make a phone call directly to this phone number. That is, they just directly redirect us to our phone app so that we can be able to make a phone call to this phone number. So as the email as well. If you were to click it, you just compose an email and send it directly to this email. I think this is a very, very cool feature. And we have a repetition of our social media icons right here. And at the very bottom, we have our footer, just like this. And this is just basically what we're going to be creating for today's episode. Actually, I'm not sure if all of you understand what a portfolio is. A portfolio is just something that almost every professional needs. Whether you're a medical doctor, an engineer, more especially a programmer. As a programmer, you need a portfolio. And this is just a very simple and a very basic portfolio. And I think it is just going to be a very, very cool exercise for us to try out. And the most interesting thing is this. After we finish building this portfolio, we are going to be hosting it on GitHub pages. So you just have to stick in until the end of this episode. And now what we're going to do is that let's go back and start writing our HTML code. Also, there is something I need to mention. As you can see, we have these 2 links. They are also CDL links. I know you are already familiar with them. So let me just do this. Let's go wardrobe and make them in a way that you can be able to see everything. I'm just going to drop them in the description so you can just go and copy them and paste it inside your code. You just need to have them before you can be able to have all those icons and a lot of things inside this episode. And by the way, just from experience, I realized that our previous episode is kind of a little bit long. Not a little, let me be honest, it's a very long episode. So what we're going to do is that we are going to be dividing this episode into 2 because it is also going to be a very long episode if you are just to have it in one video, just like our previous episode, because it has a lot of code, a lot of CSS, a lot of HTML. So what we are going to do is this. We are going to be dividing this episode into 2 parts. The first part is going to be our HTML, and then the second part is going to be our CSS. I think having it that way will just give a little bit room to people. And as well, if you realize, I have my folder layout in this approach. I have my index.html and CSS, and I have a separate folder that contains my images. From now on, this is the approach we're going to be using because I think it is much more cleaner. It gives our code a little bit more clarity, having all our images on a separate folder and then our files right here. I think it's a little bit cool doing it that way. So right now, let's just go on and start writing the HTML code for today's episode. But first of all, let's start by changing the title of our website to, let's just make it a professional portfolio, since we're actually going to be building a portfolio in this episode. And even in this episode, we are going to be implementing commenting approach, because we're going to be writing a lot of code. So it's better we have this clarity of wherever we are, you know where we are with the comment. So first of all, let's start by writing comment like this, dash, space, let's come in the middle right here. And let's see, let's call this section, let's see, like a hero section like this. And let's just come down right here. And what we're going to do is this. Let's start by creating a header tag like this. And inside this header, what we're going to do is that let's give it a class. Let's call that class hero like this. And let's just come down right here and create a div tag like this. And what we're going to do is that let's give a class to our div tag. And this div tag, let's give it a class called, let's just say, hero-content like this. And what we're going to do is that let's come down right here and create a h1 tag like this. And inside this h1, what we're going to do is that let's also give it a class, like this, a class. And what we're going to do is that let's call the class of this h1 hero title like this, hero-title like this. And what we're going to do is that let's just say hi, comma, I am, then you just add in your name. But first of all, let's just create a span tag so that we just have that text having different approach. And inside this span tag, let's also give it a class called highlight like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let's just add in our name. You can just add in your name, whatever your name is. And let's assume I'm going to add in my name. So let me just see. Ismaeel Abubakar, like this. Sorry, like this. You can just add in your name. It is all right. And let's just come down right here. Oh, let me just close in this one so that we just have a better, clear visibility of whatever it is that we're doing, so that I will not confuse you, because we're going to be writing a lot of code. And I know if you're not having a very clean structure of our code, I'm definitely going to confuse you. So let me come down right here and create a paragraph tag. And what we're going to do is that let's give a class, let's give a class to this paragraph tag. And the class we're going to be giving it, let's call it hero subtitle, hero-subtitle like this. And what we're going to do is that let's type in, let me just copy the text that we're going to be typing in inside right here with Control C, and let me just paste it right here with Control V. Let's just type in this text from developer, designer, tech enthusiast like this. And I think it's all right. So what we're going to do is that let's come down right here and create another div tag like this. And what we're going to do is that let's give a class to our div tag. And this div tag is going to be storing all our social media icons. So let's just call it social-icons like this. Let's go give it that class. And let's come down right here and create an anchor tag. And inside this anchor tag, what we're going to do is that you're just going to be adding in your social media link. But for now, I'm just going to be adding in this hashtag. I know you already know how to add your social media links, since as long as you've been following me all along, you already know how to do that. And what you're going to do is this. Let me just say, let's give it a class also. Class we're going to be giving it is going to be social icon, social dash icon without an S. This one is social icons with an S, and this one is just a social icon without an S. You need to take note of that so that you do not make any mistake. And what we're going to do next is that let's just create icon like this, and let's give a class to this icon. Let's just call the class of this one is a font awesome class. So we're going to be adding a Facebook icon, FAB space FA dash Facebook. You have to take note, you have to spell it correctly, or else you're not going to be having that icon. And since we have this link, just to save time, let's just copy it, Control C, and paste it 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we have 5 copies of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that is okay. All we need to do now is just change in the name. This one is going to be having our Twitter link like this, Twitter like this, and this one is going to be having our LinkedIn icon. Let's just see LinkedIn like this. I hope I'm spelling it correctly. And this one is going to be having our YouTube icon, so let's just see YouTube like this. And the next one is going to be having our GitHub icon like this, GitHub like this. So I think these are the links we need for this one. And we are also done with the header section. So let me just remove this space. And since we're done with it, let's come down right here and let's just copy the comment we have right here with Control C, and let's just paste it right here. Instead of just calling this one hero section, let's just create our navigation bar, navigation like this. This is going to be for our navigation bar, this section. So let's just come down like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let's create a nav tag like this, since we're going to be creating a navigation bar like this. And after creating our nav, let's just give it a class. Let's see, class. And let's just call it nav bar. The name of the class, let's just call it nav bar like this. And let's create a div tag inside our nav bar. And what we're going to do is that this div tag, let's just give it a class. In the class, we're going to be giving it, let's just call it container like this. And let's come down and create our unordered list like this. And let's create a list item. Let's create li like this. And inside this li, let's store an anchor tag like this. And let's also just create an ID for it. We're going to be creating an ID about. So let's just say hashtag about. I know you already know how to do this, so I'm not just going to spend any time explaining it because I know you already understand it as long as you're with me all along. So what I'm going to do is that let's just say about me like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let's just copy what we did right here with Control C, and let's paste it 1, 2, 3. Don't worry, even if you don't understand what we did, I'm just going to come back and explain it again. So what we're going to do is that let's just remove what we did right here. Let's remove the about. Don't worry. When we are creating the ID, I'm just going to come back and link it so that you just have a very, very better understanding of what we are doing. Let's just delete everything. And instead of this about me, for this one, let's just make it skills. Since we're going to be having a skills section, skills like this. And for this one, let's also create projects like this. And lastly, for this one, let's create contact. Since we're just going to be creating these sections, so that's why we are just going to be linking them to our navigation bar. And I think this is all we need for our navigation bar. And now let's move into our main body section. So let's start by creating a main tag like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let's add our comment right here, because our main section is going to contain a lot of things. Our about section, our skills section, and our project and our contact. So first of all, we are going to start with creating our about section. So let me just copy the comment we have right here with Control C. Let me just copy it with Control C. And let's just paste it right here with Control V. And let's just make this one about section like this. And for about section, what I'm going to do is that let's start by creating a section tag like this. And inside this section tag, let's create the ID that we're going to be linking with this about me right here. So let's just say ID like this. And let's see the name of our ID is going to be about. And what we are going to do is this. Let's copy this ID and then paste it inside this link. That's just what I mean before. And I think having it this way will make you understand what I'm doing better, instead of just adding it and then coming back in the code and then writing them. It's better we just have it this way. When we are creating our scales, we're going to create an ID for it, and then we'll just come back and add the ID for the scales, just like that. I think having it this way is better. So now what we're going to do is that let's also give it a class, and we're going to be giving it two classes. The first class is going to be called section, and then the second class is going to be about dash section. What we're going to do is that we're going to be grouping them with this section class, all this scales, project, and contact. We're going to be grouping them with this section, and then afterwards we're going to be sending them uniquely with this about section, just like that. And the next thing I think we need is just to have a div tag right here, and inside our div tag, let's give it a class. Let's just give it a class called container, like this. I hope I'm spelling it correctly. A container. And let's come down right here and create another div tag. Let's just say div like this. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's just say we're going to be giving it a class called about, sorry, I made a typo, about container. Let's just call it about container, like this. I hope I spelled the container correctly. And what you're going to do next is this. Let's add in that profile image. So we're just going to be adding in an image tag like this, and the source of our image is going to be dot /img / and what you're going to do is that I'm going to be adding my pic. So I'm just going to, the name of my image is pic.jpg, my profile picture. Right here, it is right here. As you can see, pic.jpg is a JPG image. And in this episode, I have a variety of images, some with the JPG extension and some with the PNG. I did this on purpose so that you guys will not just be having a relaxed approach. Every time you're using PNG, you're only using PNG, and every time you're using JPG, you're only using JPG. I just want you to have this in mind, that you can have a JPG image or a PNG image. So that's why we're just doing it this time around. And our alternative text is just going to be, let's just say, my photo, like this, since it's just actually going to have my photo. And now let's just give it a class, and the class we're going to be giving it is just going to be called about dash photo, like this, about photo. And I think we're done with the image, so let's just come down right here and create another div tag like this. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is this. Let's just say, let's give it a class, and let's call that class something like about text container, like this, about dash text dash container, like this, about text container. And what you're going to do is that let's come down right here and create a h2 inside it. And this h2, what you're going to be storing, first of all, let's just give it a class first. Let's give it a class, and that class should be called about title, like about dash title, like this. And right here, what we're going to do is that let's just say about me, like this. And let's come down right here and create a paragraph tag. And for this paragraph tag, let's also give it a class. So let me just do this for the paragraph tag. Let's just see, it's going to be having a class, and that class is going to be called about dash text, like this. And let's come down right here and paste the text of our about section. So let me just copy in the text, and let's paste it right here with Control V. And as you can see, we have created a span tag right here, and I want you to just do exactly the same. This span tag is just something that will highlight this text to make it even more, to just create a more focus on it. I am a creative web developer. It's just going to add a little bit weight to it, because we're just going to change the color of this creative web developer to have different color than the rest of it. That's just what we did right here, just like we did it right here. We create a span tag, we name it highlight, just like that. So that's just what we did right here. I just wanted to have the same thing. And after you have this, I think we're done with our about section. And the next section we're going to do is our skills section. So let me just copy in the comment right here with Control C. And let me just come in right here and paste it. And instead of about section, let's call this one skills section. Let's just say skills section, just like this. And what we're going to do is that let's also start by creating a section tag, and let's give it an ID. And the ID we are going to be creating for this one is going to be skills, like this. And let's just copy in this ID with Control C, and let's paste it right here with Control V. So now we have created for the two of them, our about section and our skills section. All these links will just be responding to them. So let's come back right here and give it a class. And the first class we're going to be giving it is going to be called section, like this. And the second class is going to be called skills dash section, just like this. And this is it. So right now, let's just come down and create a div tag like this. And what we are going to do is that let's give a class to this div tag. Let's give it a class, and the class we're going to be giving it, let's just call it container. I'm not sure we are going to be signing this container class, but let's just add it for now in case we need it. And let's come down inside it and create a h2 like this. And inside this h2, what we are going to do is this. Let's give it a class. And the class we're going to be giving it, let's call it, let's see, section title. Let's see, section dash title, like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let's just say skills, like this. And I think it's okay, that h2. And let's come down right here and create a div tag for our grid, that those boxes we're going to be creating. So this div tag, let's also give it a class. What we are going to do is this. Let's give it a class called, let's just say skills dash grid, just like this. And let's come down right here and create another div tag like this. And what we are going to do is that this div tag is going to be for our skills card. So what we are going to do is this. Let's give it a class. Let's call that class skills, or let's just say skill as an entity one, skill dash card. I did not add an S right here. It's just one skill because we're just going to be creating different cards for all the skill section. So let's just come down right here and create this icon for the skills. So the class for this one, I think we're just going to be adding this class. Let's just give it a code class. Let's see, FAS space FA dash code, like this. And I think that's it. We have created code icon. It's a font awesome class. And let's just say h3 like this. Let's add a h3, and let's just see web development, like this. Web development. I think since this skill card is for the web development, let's just leave it like this, web development. And let's just add a little bit of text to it like this. And let me just copy in the text we're going to be adding to it with Control C, and let me just paste it right here with Control V. This is just the text we're going to be adding to it. And what we're actually going to do is this. Since we're going to be having, let me see, since we're just going to be having how many skills card? 1, 2, 3, 4. What we're just going to do is that let's just copy this code, this skill card right here. Let's just copy it with Control C, and let's paste it 1, 2, 3. So that we're just going to be having 4. If you have to count it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And all we need to do is to edit it. First of all, this one is going to be having this code. It is just going to be another font awesome class, since we're just going to be adding I think this one is going to be for our JavaScript like this. So let's delete this web development and replace it with JavaScript like this, JavaScript. And let's change our font awesome class and let's make it first for dash laptop dash code like this. I think this is the name of that font awesome class. And let's just copy in the text. We're just going to be adding in here with Control C, and let me just paste it right here with Control V. And for this one also, we're not going to be leaving it with this first file code. It's going to be FA dash drafting dash compass like this. And instead of web development right here, let's make it UI dash slash UX, just like this, UI UX design like this. And instead of this text, let me just copy in the text we're going to be adding, this one. Let me copy it with Control C and let's paste it right here. Visually appealing and user-friendly interfaces, just like this. And for this one also, we're just going to change the font awesome class. What we're going to call it is FA dash, I think is database like this. Database, I think that's how it is. And let's just copy in the text we're going to be replacing our paragraph with. This paragraph, let's just paste in this one. And for this text, instead of web development, let's just say back end. Let's just say backend basics, since you guys might have some basics of backend. And don't worry, in our next few episodes, we're just going to be rounding off this HTML. We're moving into JavaScript, and you can see a lot of cool features of that. And now I think we're also done with our skill section. So let me just delete in this space, and we have 3 closing in tabs of this. Let me remove this one, and we are done with our skill section. So let me just copy in this comment right here. Our next section is going to be our project section. So let me just say project like this, project section. And let me come down and create a section tag like this, section. And what we're going to do is that let's start by giving it an ID like this, and let's call it project like this. And what we're going to do is that let's copy it with Control C, and let's come inside our navigation bar right here and paste it project just like that. And let's come down right here. So we have also created the link to this project just like that. And let's give it a space like this, and let's also give it a class like this. And let's also give it 2 classes. The first class is going to be called section, and the second class is going to be project dash section like this. And this is it. So let's come down right here and create a div tag. And what we're going to do is that let's give a class to this div tag. Let's call the class container like this. And let's come down right here. And what we're going to do is this. Let's create a h2 like this. And let's give a class to our h2. The class we're going to be giving it is going to be called section dash title like this, section title. And let's add in the text projects like this. And let's just come down right here and create a div tag. And what we're going to do is that this div tag is going to be containing our project grid. So let's give it a class called project dash grid just like this. And let's come down right here and create a div tag that is going to be containing our project card So let's just say class project dash card. And what we are going to do is this. Since our project is going to be containing an image of our project actually, so let's create an image tag. And I already have an image that I'm going to be using right here. So let me access it. img / and this one is just going to be my e-commerce image right here. And what I'm going to do is that, let me just see, for our alternative text, let's just see project 1, just like this. And what we're going to do is this. Let me come down right here and let me create another div tag inside that project card div like this. And what I'm going to do is this. Let me just add in, let's give it a class first, a class like this. And let me just see project info, project dash info like this. It's going to be containing our project info. So inside it, we're going to be adding a h3 like this. And this h3, let's like this, let's say a class like this. And what we're going to do is that, let me just say project dash title like this. And what I'm going to do is this. Let me just say project 1. Let me just leave it like this, project 1. I think it's okay, project 1. And let me come down right here and create a paragraph tag. And for this paragraph tag, what we're going to do is that let's give it a class also. And let's just see, we're just going to call this one something like maybe like project, maybe like project description. See, it's going to be just describing a little bit of our what our project is. Project description like this. And let me just copy in the text I'm going to be adding inside this project description with Ctrl+C. And let me just paste it right here with Ctrl+V. And I think this is just what we're going to be creating for this one. And let me just do this so that I can be able to have a clear visibility of everything that I'm doing. And what we are going to do next is this. Since we are just going to be having this project card, we're going to be having 3 of them. So what we are going to do is this. You're going to copy from this div that has project card right here. Just copy everything to right here. Look, the beginning of this div is right here and the end of it is here. So you're just going to copy everything from here to here. All you have to do, you are going to be leaving 2 closing tags of div tag at the bottom, and you're going to be starting from this div that says project card right here. If you copy it with Ctrl+C, and then you come in right here under this one, let me just give in like this, and then you paste it 1, and then you paste it twice, just like this. So what we're actually going to do is this. We have 3 sections, and the next thing all we need to do is just to edit this one to project 2, and this one also to project 2, and we have to change the image. Instead of this e-commerce, since our next project is not an e-commerce, it's going to be a blog. Let's just say blog.jpg like this. And for this one, we are just going to change this one. So let me just copy in the text we're going to be replacing with this one. And let's just say with Ctrl+C. Let me just paste it right here with Ctrl+V like this. And I think we're done with this one. So the next one is this one. And this one is also going to be having an e-commerce image. The image is going to be called a portfolio like this. I already have the image portfolio, and instead of project 1, let's make it project 3. And right here also, instead of project 1, let's also make it project 3. And it's going to be having the same class, project info, project card, everything, project description, except for this text. So let me just copy in the text I'm going to be replacing it with. Let me just say Ctrl+C, and let me just come in right here and paste it with Ctrl+V, just like this. And by the end of it, you're going to be having 4 closing divs. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like this. And I think we're also done with our project section. So let me just copy in this comment with Control C, and let me just paste it right here with Control V. And the next section is our contact section, just like this. And what we're going to do for our contact section is this. Let's just come down and create a section tag, just like we did with the other ones. And let's start by giving it an ID. The ID we're going to be giving it is going to be called contact. And then we're going to be linking this ID to our navigation bar. Let's just say contact like this. And let's just copy this one with Control C. And let's scroll down to our navigation bar. Where is it? Right here, contacts. And let's paste it right here with Control S. So now, as you can see, we already have all the IDs for the navigation bar. They all have their links right now. We all have it. Everything is set. So now let's just go on and create our contact section. So right now what we're going to do is this. Let's create a h2 tag like this. And inside this h2, what we're going to do is that, sorry, we're supposed to start by giving this one's class. I forget. And the class is just going to be section, the first class, and then the second class is going to be contact dash section, just like this. And let's come back to our h2. And for our h2, what we're going to do is this. Let's give it a class like this. And the class is going to be called section dash title like this. And what we're going to do right here is say contact me right here. And what you're going to do is let's come down right here and create a paragraph tag just like this. And let me just copy in the text that I'm going to be adding there with Control C, and let me just paste it right here with Control V. But first, let me just bring in this one downward like this. And let me just give it a class just like this. Maybe having it this way will give you a much more clear approach. Let's just give it a class, and the class we're going to be giving it is going to be called contact message. Let's just see contact dash message like this. I think I've spelled it correct. Contact message, I'm written an S like this. Contact message. You have to take note of your spellings, because classes, when you misspell them, you cannot target them in your stylings. So you have to be very careful with it. That is why I always cross check it when I write it. And the next thing we're going to do is let's create a div tag like this, and let's give it a class called, let's say, contact dash info like this. And what we're going to do is that inside this div tag, let's create another div tag which is going to contain our contact card. So let's just see, let's give it a class called contact dash card like this, contact card. And let's come down right here and create our icon like this. And the icon we're going to be using is a font autumn class icon. So let's give it a class of that icon, which is dash envelope. Since we're going to be creating our email card right here, and you know, email have that envelope icon, so this is just the name of the class we're going to be adding to it. And let's create a h3 like this, and inside this h3, let's just say email like this. And right here, let's just add in a paragraph that will contain a little description of what we actually need inside our email. And let me just copy in the text. I just want us to be very fast. That is why I'm just not typing the text, I'm copying them. Feel free to drop me an email just like that. And what you're going to do next is come down right here and create an anchor tag, which is going to store our email. What you're going to do is that inside this href, what you're going to do is this. You will type in mail to, just like this, and then colon like this, and then in your email. Let's assume your email is whatever your email is. Let's assume I'm going to add in example@email.com. Just make sure that whatever is right here after this mail to is your actual email, like the email you want people to send email into, like your real email. Just make sure that it is there. That is, and then what you're just going to do is maybe like copy your email, the email that you have typed in, and then add it right here so that people just click on it. When they click to just compose an email to this very specific email, that is just actually what we did right here. And since we already have this one, we have our contact card. We're just going to do just like we did in our about section. So in our services section, what we're just going to do is this. Let's copy in everything we have right here from this contact card to the end of the div tag. That's just what I mean. You just copy it and then paste it one and then paste it again. So we have 3 cards. We have 3 cards right now. And what you're going to do is this. This one is for the email. And it's going to be having the same class contact card, but the font awesome class is not going to be envelope. Since this one is going to be containing our phone number, what you're going to do is this. Instead of envelope, let's make it phone like this. Pause for phone, just like that. And instead of email right here, let's just say phone. And in our href, instead of mail to example.com, what we're actually going to do is this. You're just going to type in tell, then colon, and then your phone number. Let's assume your phone number is, let's just say maybe plus 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, just like this. So you're just going to type in your actual phone number, the phone number you want people to call you in when they clicked on this link actually. So let me just do this. Let me just copy in this one and let's paste it right here instead of our email. So plus 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, just like this. And every time people click on this phone number, it is going to just directly call in this phone number that is inside this tell to right here. So make sure you're adding in your right phone number, the phone number that you want people to call you when they visit your portfolio. That's just basically what we did right here. And the last card we have is for our location. And instead of this envelope, what we're going to do is that let's just remove this one first. For let's just see map. This is just the name of the font awesome class dash marker, like this. I'm not sure this is how you spell marker. I think there is an R right here, marker, like this, and dash alt, like this. This is the name of that location icon in font awesome. So you just have to type in exactly what I type in. And instead of email, we're just going to change it to, let's just say location, like this. And right here, instead of this one, let's just say, let's copy in this text and let's replace it with this one and paste in. And instead of this anchor tag, what we're going to do is let's remove it and let's just copy in our paragraph with Control C and let's paste it right here with Control V. And what you're going to do is this, you're just going to replace it with your actual address, just like this. So I'm just going to do it like this. I think that's it. So let's just add in those social media icons we have in our header, because we already concord them in our contact section. So let's just go into our header. Since we already have the div tag, what we're going to do is this. Let's just copy in this social icon div tag. Let's copy in the entire div tag. This is just the opening tag of the div tag right here, and this is the closing tag. So what we have to do is copy in the entire div tag for our social icons, and let's scroll down right here, right beneath this one, right here. And what we're going to do is that outside everything right here, let's paste it right here. That's just how it's supposed to be. Make sure it is in this order. So now I think we're also done with our contact section. And with our contact section done, I think we're also done with our main body. So let's just delete in the space and let's come down right here and create our footer. So let's just add in our footer tag like this. And our footer is not going to be containing a lot. So just basically what we're going to do is this. Let's just give it a class. And for the class of our footer, let's just call the class footer, just like that. I don't know any name to call it. That's why I'm just going to call it footer, and it's okay, call it footer. So let's create a div tag like this. And inside this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's give it a class. And the class we're going to be calling it is a container. I'm not sure we're actually going to be starting this container class, but let's just add it in case we might need it, so we don't have to come back to our HTML code. And next thing we need to do is let's just create a paragraph tag like this. And inside this paragraph, we're just going to store our copyright icon just as usual, you know, what we normally used to do. But first, let's give it a class. Let's give it a class. And that class is going to be called footer text. Footer dash text, just like this. And what we're going to do is this. We're just going to say and copy semicolon like we normally used to do. And what you're going to do is this. Instead of just adding in the text this way by saying maybe 2025, all right, resolve, the normal way you normally used to do it, we're just going to do something that is even much more better. I know this series is entirely purely HTML and CSS, but you can just go in and check. We have just added a new series of JavaScript. So I'm just going to give you a little taste of what JavaScript is, so that maybe if you're interested, you can just go in and check in. We have started the series right now, so you can learn everything about JavaScript in a very, very friendly and simple way. So what you're going to do, instead of adding the year, by the time it is 2026, we have to go back into our code and change it to 2026. When the year changes, we have to always keep updating our code. Let's just employ a JavaScript function that it will just automatically add it in the year we are in. We don't need to keep changing it. By the time the year changes, this one is also going to change. So that's just basically what we're going to do for this episode. I know it's not part of HTML or CSS, it's a JavaScript, but since we have started the series, if you're interested, you can just go in and watch it. This is just what you're just going to do now. It's much more cooler, and you're not a beginner anymore. As long as you have been following us along to this stage, you have already understand enough you need to know about HTML and CSS to make you not a beginner. So right now what we're going to do is this. Let's just create a span tag like this. And inside this span tag, we're just going to be giving it an ID like this. And the ID is going to be called year, just like this. And don't get confused. Even if you don't understand, it's not a big deal because you haven't learned JavaScript. If you're interested, we have the videos. You can just go in and start watching them. They are very beginner friendly. So what we're just going to do is that we're just going to leave this span tag with the ID year. And right here, we're just going to say, you're just going to add in your name, like the way we normally used to do. So I'm just going to add my name, Ismaeel Abubakar. Let's just say all right, resolve, like this. Stop. And what we're just going to do is this. Let's come down right here and create a script for that date, so that it should just keep updating automatically. And we're just going to use internal JavaScript. And let's just say document dot get element by ID. It's a JavaScript function that collects the DOM of element by ID. Year, like this. And what it's going to do is that dot text content like this. And actually, let's set it to a new date. Let's call in the date function. And right here, let's just say get full year. Another function. Get full year. And then our parenthesis. And let's close it. What we actually do is that it is always going to update this span tag right here. Is just going to be putting in the date, the actual date. Let's just save it now. I think we are also done with the footer because we're not going to be adding anything to it. We've already added everything in our contact section or social media. So we're just going to be leaving our footer like this. If we were to save it with Control S and then try refreshing, as you can see, we have almost everything we have added. These are our social media icons and these are our links. If we were to click in, they are working functional right now. And if you were to go right here, as you can see, it has this copyright. We did not add it in the year, but it added our 2025 right here. Maybe we should just add a little bit of space Let me just go back inside our code and do that. Maybe right here, let me just go. Let's just see, let's add a space right here and then save it, so that we'll just be having a little bit of space between our edit and the name we added there. And if we are to refresh it again, just give it a moment, it is loading. Right here, as you can see, we have the date of the year. This is just one of the little features of what JavaScript can do, and I promise you, as long as you go and watch this JavaScript tutorial, you're going to learn a lot of cool features like this one. So by the time the date changes to 2026, we don't have to go back inside our code and change it to 2026. It will just automatically change to 2026. So as the next year, and it will just keep updating like that, just like that. It will just keep updating live, just like that. And this is our HTML section. And I think, as I've mentioned, we're just going to stop here. The next episode is going to be our styling. And this will be the end of today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoy. See you in the styling section.